So for our Unit 13 aims, the first we're going to do is learning AimA. This is to understand the uses and the features of a website. Then we're going to be doing learning AimB B, design a website. Remember, we're only doing the distinction task on here. For the next video, I will be covering learning aim C and D. So stay tuned and subscribe so you don't miss that other video as well. So you can be so awesome and get a distinction grade on this unit. So on this section, we're just going to go through the objectives that we will be covering for both videos. The first one we'll be covering is discuss the strengths and weaknesses of the website. And the second one we'll be covering, and that's the final one for this video, is to justify the final design decisions, including how the design will fulfill the purpose and user requirements. D3 and D4 we will be covering in our next video. So you now need to subscribe to ensure you don't miss that video. So the first aim and the first distinction task we're going to cover, which is D1, discuss the strengths and weaknesses of the website. So I wanted this to show on here only because I needed to understand that the strengths and the weaknesses should be about the website itself, not about the service, not about the product that the website offers. So it needs to be about the website. So for example, the website layout, the website, the layout or the aesthetics, the links on the website, whether they work or not. Were they an effective feature that made it a strength, or were they not that made it a weakness? So let's get on to the next section. As I did before, I will be doing it in this video as well. I'm going to give you examples. Remember, these are only a guide. They're examples of how students work. This example here is an example of strength and of the strength of the BBC News website. So I am not going to read it through. I just want to highlight some of the areas on this slide so you're aware of what you need to include in your distinction. So you can have up to 2 strengths. It's up to you to meet the criteria for this distinction task. The BBC News website has a lot of strengths. That's a good starting point. It just gave this person gave a time period as well of when the upgrade took place. And with any website these days, especially because of what's going on or what's trending, it needs to be updated. All websites need to be updated. And you would have learned about dynamic and static websites in this task, in the entire assignment. So for the distinction task, it could be a strength if the website is a dynamic website, because if the website is a dynamic website, it means that it is updated on a regular basis. It means that you can interact with the website, you can interact with the different features of the website. This person actually went on to talk about the different coding or programming that was used to build this website. And maybe it is the same coding that will be used to maintain or to update the website. One point I will point out on here as well, let's move on. So on here, can you see I'm circling this section? Please don't write that. It's a formal writing. It's a formal writing. So you're gonna write OR instead of that slash. I do not accept it, and this person has used it twice, and that's for your grammar. So when you're writing out for your distinction task, you need to use proper grammar, the appropriate grammar for this task. Just do that as a part of showing that you are able and you're capable of actually writing a formal piece of writing. So the next example is the weakness of BBC News website. So on here, I think he's written, or he or she has written about the different version of, and sometimes different versions will give you different capabilities, so different features to the website. However, I will point out on here that a weakness could be the performance of the website. So in short, for example, how many clicks would you need to do to complete a particular task? The more clicks you do on that particular website to complete a task, it means that less is more. So less is better, less clicks. More clicks you do, it means that you're taking a longer time to find a specific item or product. So that will mean for that website that they might need to just tweak some of the features a bit depending on your network. And remember, a lot of the times the performance of your website will depend on the type of network that you use, or if your network, if you have a fast network or Wi-Fi connection, it means for you that you will have a better experience when browsing on the internet. So you need to consider all these elements. One weakness of that particular website as well could be that the layout could be confusing. It could be the aesthetics in terms of color. They have like too many colors on the website, or was it confusing in terms of how the different features are laid out on a particular page? So there are a number of things that you can or you can note in this assignment about the weakness of a website. I know sometimes you do struggle with the weakness, but have a listen to it and use what I have said in this video to do your research and to see how you can better complete, how you can enable yourself to complete these assignments effectively. So we're just going to briefly discuss the Amazon website and what some of the strengths are that you could note in this assignment. So navigation, it's simple and clear. So that's a great statement to add. Please reword it. Please write it in your own words. Please research it. Please go and work on researching and finding out information for yourselves. These are only a guide. These slides are only guides for you to use as an example and for me to talk you through what you need to do for this. On here, as you can clearly see as well, the slashes, I do not like those for a formal piece of writing at all. Please avoid those as best as you can. So the weakness example for Amazon on here was that it's very difficult because the thing about websites that you need to note is that if it's a larger corporation, so a larger business, yeah, it means that they will have more resources, they will have more money to spend on their website. So sometimes it can be difficult to find the weakness for that particular website. Amazon is international and it is a large corporation, and because of the pandemic and what's going on, it means that they are probably updating and maintaining their websites non-stop. So you check it out for yourselves as well to find out whether or not these are weaknesses that do still exist on that particular website. But one thing you need is that, as I said before in the previous slide, your network can make the experience for you when using this website. You can make it a bit unpleasant, meaning that you might find that pages might be lagging, or you might find that the website might not navigate as easily as it should, only because your network is very slow. So you need to take all of this in consideration, and I will note that down so that you will be able to show that you have an understanding of how networks affects a website. Yeah. um, there's the point on here that this person has made. It says that Amazon has a lot of information and media. While it is useful, it also slows down the page loading time. Yes, this could be an issue, but please check if it's a current issue. Let's move on to the next slide. So this is the next distinction task. So for this distinction task, you're going to justify the final design decisions, including how the design will fulfill the purpose and user requirements. So you need to have a look at a task when you're given that a task, and you need to break it down. For this task is twofold. As you can see, justify the design to see if it meets the purpose. That's one section of it. And the next section is to justify the design to show that it meets the user requirements. So this is another example. I won't read out these examples. You can always pause the video, or you can just go back to see where you are and what you're working at, and you can use this video to work at your own pace. Yeah, so justify this design to see if it meets. This is an example. So on here I just wrote, that's where I've marked it, and it says G, and that's for grammar. It meant that that person had made a grammatical error. So he just said, I've made sure that all the user requirements were met, so it is eye-catching and it is easy to work with. Okay, I do not like to read out students' work, but as you can see on here, you can use it as a guide, as an example. Yeah, he's just justifying the different changes that he has made, and so he's explaining as well, sorry for that pause, he's explaining that he has met the purpose and the user requirements. And we need to go back to the user requirements in terms of P2, where you will have a look at it and see what the client has asked you for. So that's part of the user requirements. See if you have met it in this section when you were designing the website. Justifying the design to see if it meets the purpose continued. I am not reading this out. These are just examples of what you needed to do to complete that particular task. And if you have completed the different sections that you needed to do, including the 8 pages or more website design, then you would have actually met that part of the assessment. So have a read through it, use it as a guide and as an example. The final section, and I want you to concentrate on this bit because I want you to note it in assignment 2, assignment 3, and 4, only because as a designer, a web designer, you want to think about the struggles that you're having. You're thinking about the issues that you're working with and see how you can either work around, or you can adapt, or you can change up to suit the design constraint, yeah, or to ensure that you meet the requirements regardless of the constraints that you're facing or having. Yes, so this is an example. Please add it to assignment 2. When you read these, have a look at it, see if it makes sense to you. As I said, it's a past example from a learner that I've had before. See if it does help you. Yes, so constraints could be a number of things. You could take into consideration the fact that you were in lockdown and you might not have had the software available to you, or you might not have had the available resources. There's also a time factor that you might have been working with, because I know we're asking you to design a website and to create the website in a short period of time. So you need to look into these issues and note them down. See how you have worked around them. Just give a brief feedback as to how it has affected you. Write these down for this aim. So this is going to be the final section of the assignment. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe so that you don't miss the other video that we will be covering. Well, I will be covering for assignments 3 and 4. Bye.